Hi Year 6, today in the maths lesson we are going to continue to look at area, but we are moving on to look at the area of a parallelogram. To start off with, we're going to carry on with the Among Us maths, so again you can pause and you've got 30 seconds to figure out the two imposters or the two wrong answers, or you can pause the video, take your time and see if you can do all of the calculations. So the imposters today were the green one, as it should have been 136, and the blue one, which should have been 72. Before we start today's lesson, we're going to be looking at two words that come up, we've looked at last week, but I want to go over again today. So the two words are parallel and perpendicular, so they both begin with a P. Parallel means two lines that are always an equal distance away from each other. They're never ever going to meet. So think about train tracks, okay? They're marked, they're always the same distance apart, they're never ever going to meet or cross. They're marked by these little lines here, so this means that this line is parallel to this one. They come in pairs because there's two lines that never ever meet. Perpendicular is the other word, and we looked at this last week when we were figuring out the height of our triangles. So perpendicular is when two lines meet at a right angle, okay, or 90 degrees. Using that information, I want you to pause the video and see if you can think about what is the shape of a parallelogram. Can you draw the shape? Can you think about what its features are of a shape? So does it have any rules? And then think about, is it the same or different to a rectangle, and how? So three things to do. Pause the video, draw a parallelogram, think about the features of a parallelogram, and think about whether it's the same or different to a rectangle. Hopefully you can identify which of the shapes I've drawn is a parallelogram and which is a rectangle. This we know is a rectangle. It's got four sides, two sides opposite each other are equal, and we can also say they are parallel. So there are two pairs of parallel lines. This pair, they're never going to meet, and this pair, they're parallel. We also have over here a parallelogram. So a parallelogram also has four sides, it's also a quadrilateral. It also has two pairs of parallel lines. These two are parallel and these two are parallel. So now let's think about what's different. In my rectangle, I have four right angles. So my sides are perpendicular to each other. So we've got parallel lines and perpendicular lines. It's got four right angles. However, in my parallelogram, I don't have any rectangles. What I have are acute and obtuse angles. So that is our main difference. Now let's think about whether this affects how we find the area of a parallelogram. Remember, the area of a shape is the space taken up inside of our 2D shape, not the perimeter that is the outside. So to find the area of a rectangle, we know that we do the length times by the width. Length times by width. Now for our parallelogram, we do base times by the height. Now we've come across that before, the height, when we were looking at the area of a triangle. We needed for the height to have a perpendicular line, so a line that met at a right angle. So that's exactly the same as what we do for our parallelogram. We need to find the perpendicular point in order to find the height, and then we can times together the base and the height. Have a look at this diagram to help us understand it. Here is a parallelogram with the base and the height labelled for us. You can see the right angle that's also highlighted. Now if we rearrange that parallelogram, you can see that we can take that triangle and add it onto the other side, so it's rearranged to actually make a full rectangle. So just the same as we would a rectangle, we can do base times by height or length times by width, but we need to make sure that we are using the height that's perpendicular as opposed to using the sloped edge. I would now like you to pause the video, sketch out this parallelogram and have a go at finding its area. Remember, the formula is base times by height. I've sketched out that same parallelogram. So we have our four-sided shape, two pairs of parallel lines. This side is 7 centimetres, so this must be as well. This side and this side are 4 centimetres. Now, remember, to find the area of a parallelogram, we need to do base times by height. So our base is the 7 centimetres multiplied by the height. Now, this isn't our height here. Remember, we need to look for that perpendicular line, the line that meets at a right angle, which is this one, and it's been labelled for us as 3 centimetres. So we need to do 7 centimetres multiplied by 3 centimetres, which gives us 21 centimetres squared. Well done if you got that. Now have a go at these. Pause the video, sketch them out, and then we'll go through the answers together. I've sketched out these 3 parallelograms. Let's go through them. So the first one is our orange parallelogram. Remember, we are finding the area, which is the inside of the shape. We don't need to add up the outside distances, that would be the perimeter. So we need to find the base times by the height. Base times height. The base is 6 centimetres multiplied by our perpendicular height. Here is our right angle, so the height of the parallelogram is 4 centimetres. 6 times by 4 gives us 24 centimetres squared. Now let's go to the pink parallelogram over here. So again, we've got our base. This one's a little bit trickier to spot. You need to be looking for that right angle. Where's the perpendicular point? So we've got 9 centimetres multiplied by 12 centimetres, which is going to give us 108 centimetres squared. That's the area of this parallelogram. Then let's have a look at the last one. Again, a little bit tricky to spot. We need to be looking for that perpendicular point, that right angle that's been marked for us, that's significant. We could almost turn it round and that might make it clearer for us. So the base is 9 centimetres multiplied by the perpendicular height, which has been labelled here as 8 centimetres. 9 times 8 gives us 72 centimetres squared, which is the area of this parallelogram here. Well done if you got those. If you didn't, don't worry. Go back, see if you can spot your mistakes, watch it again, and see if you can get the correct answer the next time. That's it for today's lesson. Your task is over on Purple Mash. Things to remember today, so you're looking for the area, the inside space of a parallelogram. To do that, our formula is base times by height. And just like our triangle, to find the height, it's the perpendicular part, so the part where it meets at a right angle. Okay, good luck. Remember to let us know if you have any problems at all. Complete the work as best you can.